Greetings and welcome to a quick overview on installing Cakewalk onto your computer. Your computer may have other variables required for a complete setup that won't be covered in this video, but hopefully this can do most of what you will need. I'm going to do a full install with the advanced installation settings, so you can use those as well. Otherwise, you can just disregard the advanced stuff and do the basic installation. I've edited the footage down to just what you're going to need and remove all those fascinating screens of watching something just download or install. Cakewalk is completely free, making it probably the best value in audio editing software. However, it is only available on Windows. First, you need to download the software. Cakewalk is produced by a company called BandLab starting in 2017. Prior to that, it was made by Sonar, so the current full name is Cakewalk by BandLab, just as a way to differentiate it from the older Sonar version. To find the software online, you can use a search engine to look for Cakewalk BandLab Download. On a Google search, it might be the first option available. It should take you to a screen that looks like this, though in the future it might change. So just click on the orange download button, and then click on the second orange download button. A box will pop up. Click on Save File. You will then have the option of where to save the file on your computer. I'm going to save it to my secondary hard drive, but you can install it wherever you want. After the download has completed, go to wherever you saved the file and double-click on it to begin installing Cakewalk. You will get this pop-up to either log in or sign up. Click on Sign Up to create a new account. Don't worry, they're not looking for tons of personal information. Windows may request permission to install the software. Back at the pop-up box, you will see 3 tabs across the top. Click on the one labeled Apps on the far right, and then click on Install. Cakewalk will give you the option to install 4 additional add-ons. None of these are required for the basic editing necessary for Strong Tower Radio. I'm going to add them since I record and edit other material and they may be useful in music production. And then the installation begins. You have the option to select your language. English is the default option. And of course, what software would not be complete without a legal disclaimer. Most users will be fine with the basic installation. I'm going to use the advanced, which allows me to choose where to install the software since I want to put it on a secondary hard drive. For those using the advanced installation, notice that initially it only allows you to install it on the C drive in the Program Files directory. I was able to get more options by selecting Cancel, then Next, and then Browse, where I then had the option of other locations. Cakewalk will then confirm the file types to include. Just leave everything checked and click on Next. You will then have the option to create a desktop icon for Cakewalk. And then the final confirmation of the locations of where everything will be installed. Nothing has been installed at this point, just downloaded and set up to install. When installation has completed, you can review the release notes, but I'll skip those technical details by unchecking the box and then clicking on Finish. Then Cakewalk installs the 4 add-ons that I selected, so most of you won't have this section of the installation. This add-on is for Melodyne, which is a pitch correction software that you can use to assist with a singer that isn't quite in tune but otherwise had a great performance. You may have heard of Auto-Tune, which is another such software that does the same thing. Now installation is completed. So go ahead and launch the Cakewalk program from the desktop icon. When you first install Cakewalk, you'll have a few things to set up, so click on the Next button to start those. The blue box in the lower right corner is just confirming that all those plugins that I added on are recognized and ready to use. This first box is for your inputs and outputs. Inputs are for recording, so you can leave that empty for now since you only need the outputs to edit. Click on the drop-down and confirm that the sound is going where you want it to. I have a total of 4 options, the last of which is actually my second monitor because it's connected by HDMI. Since HDMI carries audio, I could actually have my Cakewalk audio played back through the low-quality speakers of my monitor. But since I prefer my studio speakers, I'll stick with those. Under the Advanced tab are selections for audio quality. Sample rate and bit depth are the main audio criteria. As an example, 44.1 kHz and 16-bit are CD quality, whereas Blu-ray is typically 48 Hz and anywhere from 16 to 24-bit. Most recording studios frequently record at a higher bit depth and even double the necessary sample rate to ensure that very little is lost during the mixing and editing process, and then they can output at whatever is required. Next, you can select your default workspace. This can be changed later, so just leave it on basic for now. The workspace is what you choose to be displayed in Cakewalk. If you are just editing material that has already been recorded, then you may choose to remove all the input and recording items for your workspace to make it easier. You can choose whether or not to include your session data and help the developers of Cakewalk improve the product. I'll just leave this off. And setup is complete. This is the screen that you will usually see when starting up Cakewalk, or at least when starting a new project. So, that's the end of this video on Cakewalk installation and setup, and now to start editing in the next video.